So what is this life for? Thanks for tuning in today. This is just going to be a little study that I'm going to do on Matthew 10, and we'll just kind of see what transpires from there. First, I'd just like to say thank you for being here, and I'd just like to go into a little prayer. Father, I just ask that you just bless me today to say the things that need to be said, that I pray that the seed fall on good ground. Father, I pray that those that are listening, that they hear the message, Father, and that I would say the things that you would have me to say. In your precious Son's name I pray. So Matthew 10:5. These 12 sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go into the way of the Gentiles. Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. So 12 were sent out into the nations, to the Gentiles, to the nations. Go not into the ways of the carnal man. So do not go in the ways of the carnal man. Do not use carnal ways of thinking. This is a spiritual journey that you're taking. Do not enter into the city of Samaritans. So what are Samaritans? In the ancient Hebrew term, Samaritans were guardians or keepers or watchers of the Torah law, which the Torah law is the law of man. Do not allow your mind to become of this world as you go out into it. That is what Jesus was saying. So he sent out his 12 disciples into the nations, and he's warning them, do not become carnal. Do not fall into man's law. Now, that makes me, like, the word Samaritan rings in my head because I'm a healthcare provider. And being a healthcare provider, I'm protected under what we call the Good Samaritan law, like Good Samaritan Act. Good Samaritan Act. Anyway, so what have I done? I'm protected. The liability is not on me because I'm protected under this Good Samaritan Act. So I've entered into Samaria. I'm a Samaritan, and it's kind of weird to me to actually think about that. So in that regard as well, patients. If patients are seeking man for healing, but there is but one healer, so why are they seeking after men for healing? Exodus 15:26. If you diligently heed the voice of the Lord your God and do what is right in his sight, give ear to his commandments and keep all his statutes, I will put none of the diseases on you which I have brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you. So if we go to the one healer, and we follow his commandments and we keep his statutes, then he will heal us and he will not bring forth disease. Exodus 23:25. So you shall serve the Lord your God, and he will be blessed, and he will bless your bread and your water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of you. Again, he will heal you, no sickness. 2 Kings 25. Return and tell Hezekiah, the leader of my people, thus said the Lord, the God of David your father, I have heard your prayer, I have seen your tears. Surely I will heal you. On the third day you shall go up to the house of the Lord. 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. So we must humble ourselves, we must pray, we must seek his face and turn from our wicked ways, and we will be healed. Matthew 10:6. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So Israel, it actually means God contended or wrestles with God. So God's people are also called sheep, as being under the government and protection of Christ, the great shepherd. So go to the lost sheep. Jeremiah 56. My people hath been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from the mountain to the hill. They have forgotten their resting place. So, the lost sheep of Israel. They've gone astray. They've been led astray. We've been led astray. And so, he's sending them on this journey. He's sending us on a journey to go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, to wrestle with God, to help God, to fight for God, to find these sheep and bring them back to the great shepherd. Exodus 1:7. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Exodus 1:11. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of the service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. So what is rigor? It's stiffness, it's violence, it is severity of life, strictness, exactness, latitude, hardness, severity. So it's not a good thing. So they put them in bondage, essentially. They've turned them into slaves. The Egyptians turned the house of Israel, the children of Israel, into slaves. Now let's think about that. The current state of affairs. We are in bondage. And we are in bondage under who? Who's in charge of us? Think about that. So we are in Egypt, which opposes everything the Father ever gave us free and clear. We must break free. We must seek Israel, which is a mindset. Peace, joy, happiness, sound mind, pure heart, all of the good things. We must break free from this bondage. We are in bondage. We live in bondage every single day that we are given on this earth. We wake up and we are in bondage because none of us know who we truly are. Because the Egyptians, the Babylonians, the leaders, the rulers of this current state of affairs, this current world, they put us in bondage so we do not know who we are, so that we do not seek the Lord's face, so that we do not seek the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 10:7 through 9. So 7. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So kingdom. Kingdom is the government or universal dominion of God, which is from Webster's 1828. Heaven is supreme felicity, great happiness, also from Webster's 1828. Felicity is a noun, Latin words felicitius, from felix, or happy. And so felicity means happiness, or rather great happiness, blessedness, blissfulness, appropriately, the joys of heaven, prosperity, blessing, enjoyment of good. So the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So universal dominion of God, prosperity, happiness, blessedness, blissfulness, joys, all the good things. That is what is at hand. And any time we allow the devil to steal our joy, we let him in and he takes the place of God anytime that we do that. So in Matthew 8 and 10:8, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, so freely ye shall give. So cleanse, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have give, freely you have received, freely you shall give. This knowledge and truth was given freely from the Father, so do not take or ask for payment when sharing the information. He doesn't ask for anything in return. He just wants us to share the information. So we should not receive payment for what we're doing. So provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses. Provide means from Latin providio, literally to see before, pro and video. So to procure beforehand, to get, collect, or make ready for future use, to prepare. Do not collect for sharing the knowledge, for it cannot be bought or sold, and if it is, then it shall be against God's direction. So let's ponder upon that for a moment. Who receives compensation for spreading what we would know as the gospel? Who receives compensation for that? I'll tell you. The 501c3 corporations. And if you don't know what the 501c3 corporations are, you should really look into that, because it's your church houses. They're nonprofit organizations. They do not get taxed. They receive any money that they bring in. They get to keep free and clear. And they're receiving money to share the message. And that's not the picture they paint to you. I know that's not. I know that's not what you think when you're in there and you're tithing and you're giving them money. That's not what we think when we're doing that. But that's what they're doing. And it literally straight in the Bible says do not do that. And yet they're doing it anyway. If that's not wolves in sheep's clothing, then I don't know what is. So Matthew 10:10, nor scrip for your journey, neither 2 coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves, for the workman is worthy of his meat. So trust the Lord will provide for your work. Do not worry with physical items. Go forth and be diligent in your work, leaning on the Father for guidance. So if you are following what He would have you to follow, if you're going out and you're spreading His message and His gospel, then it doesn't matter. You don't have to have any great thing. Just do what He asks you to do. Follow His guidance. Get on your knees and pray for it. Matthew 10:11 through 14. And into whatsoever city or town ye shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and there abide till you go thence. So worthy. It means to render worthy, to exalt. What does exalt mean? It's to raise high, to elevate. So, whoever you deem worthy. So, when you enter into a city or town, inquire who in it is worthy. So inquire who can become exalted. So inquire who can elevate, who has the higher mindset, who can elevate to a higher mindset. And then stay there until your message be shared, then depart from there. So whoever you deem worthy or exalted, able to elevate to a higher mindset, stay there until your message be shared, then depart from there. Now 12. And when ye come into a house, salute it. So greet the house or temple when you enter, if you enter. Because not everyone is going to receive the message that you have to offer. So if you do not enter into the home, enter into the house, enter into the temple, which is the body, if you do not enter into this mindset with this person, then do not greet them. But if you do enter, greet the house, the temple. Number 13. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it not be worthy, let your peace return to you. So if the temple, if the person, if the body, if the flesh that you are standing there speaking with is worthy of your peace, then allow your peace to come upon them. And if not, then allow your peace to return to you. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when you depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. If you find deaf ears, if who you're speaking to does not hear what you have to say, if you find blind eyes and deaf ears, depart from there and do not look back, shaking the dust off your feet as you leave, because there are some people you just cannot reach. And instead of wasting time on those people that you plant the seed, you've done your job. You plant the seed, it's God's job to make sure that it buds forth good fruit. You plant a seed, that's all you can do. Be a good sower. So if you plant a seed and it doesn't start to grow right off, just plant the seed and continue on your journey, because if you continue trying to make that person change their mind, you're wasting time because you need to go. We need to continue to build the church. To build the church, we must spread the gospel, spread the word, let people find out who they truly are. And so if we're spending all of our time in this one area, in this one town, with this one temple, then we're not truly living for what he would have us to live for. He wants us to continue on and to grow. We want to continue to grow. So to grow, we have to keep moving forward. So plant the seed, he'll water it, and if it's intended to grow, it'll grow. If not, you've done your job. Continue on and go to the next town. Matthew 10:15-16, Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. So because they will not listen, they will not hear you, they will not receive the message that you're coming to share, they will receive their judgment, which shall be worse than that for Sodom and Gomorrah. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So what is knowledge, first off? Knowledge is a clear and certain perception of that which exists, or of truth and fact. So knowledge equals truth. So what is wisdom? Wisdom is the right use or exercise of knowledge. So wisdom, therefore, is truth applied, right? It's knowledge applied. So if you apply knowledge, that then becomes wisdom. So if you apply truth, that then becomes wisdom. So what is wise? Wise is properly having knowledge, hence having the power of discerning and judging correctly, or of discriminating between what is true and what is false, between what is fit and proper and what is improper. So if we are to be wise as serpents, so wise as the wily serpent, but harmless as a dove. So we're going out in the midst of wolves, ravenous wolves. We must be wise. We must have the ability to discern and see what is true and what is false. We must have the knowledge. We must have the truth. We must have wisdom. We must exercise the knowledge and become wise so that we can beat our adversary. But also, we want to be harmless as doves, because we're not fighting a physical battle out here, guys. This is spiritual battlegrounds. So we want to be wise as the serpent, but harmless as a dove, because we're not here to hurt anyone. We're here to help build the church and save. Matthew 10:17, But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. So we must learn the wiles of our adversary. Do not fall victim to the flesh. So we must stay above the flesh, because the flesh puts you into bondage. That's what it does. You're in physical bondage and spiritual slavery. It's what it is. So a council, what is a council? So they will deliver you up into their councils. A council is an assembly of men summoned or convened for consultation, deliberation, and advice. So essentially it's a court, right? A modern day court system. What does scourge mean? Scourge, a punishment, vindication, affliction, to afflict greatly, to harass, torment, or injure. Well, then what's a synagogue? Well, if you look it up in Webster's 1828 dictionary, you got a congregation or assembly of Jews met for the purpose of worship or the performance of religious rites. So basically it's a church house. So they will scourge you, they will punish you, they will afflict you greatly, they will harass, torment, and injure you in their synagogues or in their churches. So beware of men, for they will deliver you into their courts. So they will send you into their courts, and they will punish, vindicate, afflict greatly, harass, torment, or injure you in their church houses. But, here we are, to Acts 7:48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in the temples made with hands, as saith the prophet, Heaven is my throne, and earth is my footstool. What house will ye build me? saith the Lord? Or what is the place of my rest? Hath not my hand made all these things? So he does not dwell in a house built by man's hands. He dwells in the house that he built, which is us. So he dwells within us. So no matter that they deliver you or send you to their court systems or scourge you or torment you in their churches, no matter. That doesn't matter, because he lives within you. And if you have him, you have everything. So 10:18 through 20. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. You will be persecuted for your beliefs for my name's sake, said Jesus, for declaration against them and the nations. So they will send you in front of their governors and their kings because you believe in Jesus Christ. You believe and you are trying to spread the message. And it'll be for testimony, for declaration against them and the nations. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given unto you the same hour what ye shall speak. Do not worry about what they shall say, for it will be given to you the words to speak in that moment. Do not worry. Do not worry about what you'll need to say. If you pray about what needs to be said, you're golden. For 20. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. Because you will not be the one speaking, but the Spirit of your Father who dwells within you shall speak. You are but a vessel to carry out God's bidding. What is bidding? Order, command, order, a proclamation, or notifying. So, if you continue in His name, you follow this path, you try and build the church the best that you can, and you find yourself in these court systems and in these before kings and governors and things of that nature. Take no worry, because he will speak for you. You just must allow him. Be the vessel. Be the vessel to carry out his bidding. Be the vessel to follow his commandments, his orders, his proclamations. Be that vessel, and you will have no problems whatsoever. So 10:21, and the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. So think about it. Modern day turning on one another for profit or for monopoly money, essentially. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but we actually, the dollar that we carry is called fiat currency. Well, what is fiat currency, might you ask? Fiat currency, fiat money, is a government-issued currency that isn't backed by a commodity such as gold. Fiat money gives central banks greater control over the economy because they can control how much money is printed. Most modern paper currencies, such as the US dollar, are fiat currencies. Does that... we're literally working for those greenbacks, and they're literally nothing. It's just paper. At the end of the day, it's just paper. So why not change your outlook, change your mindset? Why not become different? Why not do something that you've never done before? Why not turn away from this system? Because the system is just, it's literally putting you in bondage and slavery, and that's obviously not something that we want to do. So why don't we turn against it? Let's revolt. Let's get out of this. Let's do what God would have us to do. Matthew 10:22. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. So if you go through all of this for his name, he will take care of you. You will be exalted. You will be saved. Isaiah 40:29. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might he increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So endure till the end, because no matter what this life holds for you, if you endure the persecution and all the things, all the bad things that come for representing Jesus, then your life at the end of all that is going to be the best thing that could have ever happened, better than anything you could ever imagine. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's Ephesians 6:12. So therefore we should put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Truth, righteousness, gospel of peace, faith, salvation, the word of God, and praying. We must wear those. We have to put on the full armor, because we're not wrestling in a physical sense. We're wrestling in a spiritual sense every single day that we're given, if we're given tomorrow. We're not wrestling in a physical sense. This is not a physical war. This is a spiritual battleground, and we must fight for our Father. So in closing, perseverance, my friends, that is the key. We must seek the kingdom. We must seek first the kingdom of heaven, and once we begin to see truths unveiled to us, we must spread the gospel. This is one of my favorite verses. It's Matthew 6:34. I have it as my phone background. It reminds me daily. I have to see it because it's easy to get wrapped up in this world, guys. It is. It's very easy. It's easy to get down on yourself. It's easy for the devil to get a foothold, and once he does, he will run with it, and you know he will. So Matthew 6:34, therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about its own things. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. So don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow's got enough troubles of its own. You're only here today. You don't know if you're getting tomorrow. So why worry about something that hasn't happened yet? There is no time like the present. The past is a stepping stone toward the future. Right now is a gift. That is why it's called the present. So don't waste a day. Do not waste time. Find out who you are. Learn who you are. Do not squander your life away by living in fear, dismay, hate, malice, discontent, or any other negative connotation. Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. That's Joshua 1:9. You are promised only your current day. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone. Do not waste a day. Do not stay the same. Find out who you are. Ignorance is not bliss. My people perish from a lack of knowledge. What did we say knowledge was? It was truth. So my people perish from a lack of truth. And they hide the truth from us so very easily, guys. So just try and figure it out. Just ask the Father. Just ask Him for truths. I don't have them all yet. I'm still learning. I learn more every day, but that's the goal. It's just learn as much as you can each day. Don't be like the Plato's cave allegory, where these guys are sitting there on one side of the wall and they see things portrayed on the screen in front of them, essentially, and one of them goes up to see what it is and realizes they have two choices. They can either, once they figure out the truth that it's just someone holding up puppets, then either they can go and exit the cave because they know the truth and go and live their life, or they can run scared and turn back around and sit where they're in their nice comfy little area that they've lived in all this time. Don't be like that. Do something different. I appreciate you guys for taking the time. If you'd like to hit me up on Instagram, this is my Instagram account. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate you guys for taking the time. That's really all I have to say. Thank you.